The year is 2025, a time of unprecedented global challenges and shifting political landscapes. The world watches intently as the United States grapples with its evolving role on the global stage, facing both internal and external pressures. At the heart of this intense debate is the Supreme Court's landmark ruling against the Trump administration's controversial freeze on USAID funding. This monumental decision has far-reaching implications, affecting not just international aid but also the delicate balance of power within the U.S. government itself. The case, known as Department of State versus AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Coalition, ignited a firestorm of controversy and debate across the nation. It pitted presidential authority against congressional intent, with billions of dollars in critical humanitarian aid hanging precariously in the balance. The Supreme Court's decision, a narrow 5-4 split, serves as a stark reminder that even in matters of foreign policy, the highest court in the land holds the ultimate authority. This ruling underscores the ongoing tension between different branches of government, highlighting the complex dynamics that shape U.S. policy both at home and abroad. The United States Agency for International Development, better known as USAID, is often described as America's helping hand to the world. From disaster relief to poverty reduction, USAID programs provide crucial support to developing nations. Food security, healthcare, education, these are just a few of the areas where USAID makes a tangible difference. But in 2024, this lifeline was abruptly cut off. The Trump administration, citing concerns about fraud, abuse, and a desire to align aid with presidential priorities, froze nearly $2 billion in USAID funding. This decision sent shockwaves through the international community, leaving aid organizations scrambling and vulnerable populations in jeopardy. The legality of Trump's funding freeze was immediately challenged in court. Legal experts and advocacy groups quickly mobilized, arguing that the freeze was not only unprecedented but also harmful to ongoing international aid projects. A federal judge ruled against the administration, issuing a temporary restraining order to release the funds. This decision was seen as a significant blow to the administration's efforts to control foreign aid spending. The Trump administration appealed, but the Court of Appeals declined to intervene. The legal battle intensified as both sides prepared for a prolonged fight. The case ultimately landed at the doorstep of the Supreme Court. The stakes were high, and the nation watched closely as the highest court in the land prepared to hear arguments. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration's freeze on USAID funding was unconstitutional. The narrow decision underscored the deep divisions within the court. The majority opinion, penned by Chief Justice John Roberts, argued that the president had overstepped his authority by circumventing Congress's power of the purse. This ruling reaffirmed the importance of checks and balances in the U.S. government. The dissenting justices, led by Justice Alito, argued that a single district judge should not have the power to compel such spending. They warned that this decision could set a dangerous precedent for judicial overreach. The Supreme Court's decision was a victory for USAID and its beneficiaries, but the battle is far from over. The ruling, while celebrated by many, has opened a Pandora's box of political and social challenges that are yet to be addressed. The ruling has sparked a political firestorm, with conservative figures criticizing the decision and questioning the court's legitimacy. Heated debates in Congress and on social media platforms have only intensified, reflecting the deep divisions within the country. More importantly, the freeze on USAID funding, however temporary, has had a devastating impact on countries that rely on U.S. aid. Essential services have been disrupted, leaving vulnerable populations in dire straits. In Ethiopia and Sudan, for example, the funding freeze caused financial turmoil for nonprofits and contractors. These organizations, which are the lifeline for many, found themselves unable to operate effectively, leading to a cascade of problems. Critical work, like food distribution and medical care, was halted, putting lives at risk. The interruption of these services has had a ripple effect, exacerbating existing crises and creating new ones. The Supreme Court's decision may have restored the legal basis for USAID funding, but the human cost of the freeze continues to be felt. The road to recovery is long, and the scars left by this interruption will take time to heal.